Uh-oh.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry,
What's
guys.
wrong with
What's
my
wrong with my
screen?
screen?
T, I think
T, I
your
think your
echo.
echo's.
Might be. That would be me. That would be me.
Someone said, "All y'all."
Oh, y'all.
You said what?
Someone in the comments said, "All y'all say something
At once?
at once." And hi, Kyle. How are you doing today? We just turned the echo off. It's always Miss J. I don't know what it is on her computer, but that's what that is.
Let's double check. It's off now. It's off now.
Yeah, it's off now.
Okay.
It's
Somebody else said it's off now.
got something to drink too.
Honey, I needed it after today. Today was a doozy.
Today we can do
And then here come your nephews. Just now, all of a sudden, you want to play right next to my office. Yeah,
an amazing day. Yeah, Mr. Winchester is muted at the moment, guys.
it's been a day, guys. It's been a day. Y'all ever be at work and they think you're supposed to do somebody else's work along with your work?
Don't like it.
And then when you offer for them to go ahead and do their work because you're trying to figure out where in the job description it says you're supposed to do that work and this work. So if you could clarify for me what the hierarchy is here, then I can understand what I should take as a priority.
Oh, okay.
And then you have to per my last email a couple months. And then after you do that, now they want to leave you alone. No, let's chat.
I don't
Okay.
want
For my last email a couple. Listen, so I had to chat.
I don't want to chat.
Now she don't want to talk no more.
It's okay. I don't want to chat.
Let's tag you and your supervisor and your ops manager and figure out exactly what's supposed to be done where.
Oh, you play my type of games.
I play good.
My type of games right there.
Okay. Whew, so they took me through that while I was analyzing today. But I did get to go see Wendy today, so I was good. I had to got a little woosah in. But then I get home and we find out that the nightmare NICU nurse, Erin Stroman, not only did they give her a bond this morning, but she posted it at 5:15. So she's at home.
She's at home.
On house arrest with her parents.
I still don't get that one. I don't get that one at all.
And they still have not stated that all those babies are melanated. And they have not stated it was 7 of them. They said it was one baby on surveillance one time in November. Yes, they gave her a bond. Too pretty.
I think you said, what was it, 25,000?
25,000 at 8:46 this morning. And she posted it at 5:15. Her stipulations include her being on house arrest, having an ankle monitor. She's not allowed to be around any protected classes, any children, any vulnerable adults, and she's not allowed to take care of anyone. Ain't no NICU at home. And I'm sure there's no million at home. There was 7 of them, Deanna. 7 since last summer.
I just think I mean, these are babies, defenseless. I don't understand how she's at home. She's at home chilling right now, but
honestly, I think it's worse than defenseless babies. We are at a point where these are babies that are in the intensive care unit. Like, these babies are preemies. They have issues. They were born with issues. Like, yak is not free, yes, sweet lady.
what?
Somebody says yak free yet.
How did we get on yak?
Listen, I've seen it there. Every time I see it, I get so upset. It don't make no sense. Yes, y'all. Thank you, Jay. Yes, hit the like button on your way in. Collapse the chat. Hit that thumbs up. Lord.
So, did you say Kayla was getting her sound together?
I think she was. She said to go ahead and hop and get it started. I see that Mr. Winchester has jumped out as well. Well, how y'all doing today? How was y'all day? I was obviously tussling for my life in them emails at work today. How y'all doing? Hey,
Okay.
honey. Y'all the fly fishermen that's Big Unk. If y'all didn't notice by the flags, okay.
Hey, Q. And hey, everybody in the chat. Now that we're officially starting, hello, everybody. I hope you guys had an amazing day today. Shout out to all my millionaires that are in the chat. Thank you guys for coming to WTF Wednesdays. I can't wait till we do a little powwow on the after show because we've got some research to do with this Rocky case. There are two things that were said on Twitter today by Miss Googly Eyes, and I need to confirm them. So I'm gonna need all hands on deck, y'all. We need to confirm it.
Oh,
Much
what
I don't even
happened?
want to down here.
What happened? We got
So T, do you recall the
we can't
defense
hear you, Kayla.
ever saying that the prop did not eject projectiles? I don't ever remember hearing them saying that. I just remember hearing them say it was a prop.
Who
And
said
not so Megan was reporting on she was reporting she showed the video where they stipulated to the fact that the shell casings they have from Relly
that?
were not fired from the prop, which I thought was an important stipulation. You don't want the jury to go to the back thinking he did shoot him. These are the shell casings from the prop.
Right.
So, I think that was an important stipulation. But she is portraying it on her socials that, oh, the defense is their defense is crumbling because the prop never shot anything. The prop never shot. And I said, I don't remember them ever saying it didn't eject anything. I don't remember that being the defense. But I can't wait. I just want to hear Joe's opening again because I don't think he said that. I don't think he said that.
Well, I think they went back and forth between calling it a prop and also a starter pistol, which would not saying it would eject anything, but it's definitely gonna make a pop. But if it doesn't eject anything, that would just cater to the stipulation that those didn't come from that because it doesn't eject anything. That also would say if it doesn't eject anything that it's fake.
Yeah, and so she's like, well, I think her stance is if it is a prop and it does eject something, why didn't the police find that? Well, we don't know. We don't know why they didn't find it, but
We can find nothing. You nothing from nothing leaves nothing.
what we can be certain of is really didn't find anything.
What
Stop
we can be
it.
certain of
Come on.
is even if really found something, it was a lie. He's a lie. It's a lie. That's a lie. A damn lie. Really lied.
I'm gonna need to figure. I don't know. They were saying Kyle hasn't said anything. Kyle went off screen while Kayla's getting her stuff together. So, but yeah, I said, listen. They said, and I remember the manager saying that, Miss Sheila, that it does eject some sort of casings. I remember the manager testifying to that, which was the first time I heard of that. But I see Kyle is back now. So, hi, Kyle.
Hello.
Wait a minute, Kayla on the flight? You on the flight? He says,
Can y'all hear me?
we can hear you now.
Let me know if y'all can hear me. I'm talking.
We can hear you. Maybe it's just
I can't hear you, Kyle.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're trying to get, once Kyle gets connected, we're gonna let him start. We were just talking until we can get all this worked out. That come out, yes. Right, Montresa. There was even some girl on Twitter. She told me, she said the reason the police didn't file shell cases is because they went to the wrong area. I said, now wait a minute. Hold on. I said, now hold on. This is going too far now. You mean to tell me the camera footage from all of these different businesses, the police body cam, Redley, 12V, everybody is wrong with the area? I hadn't heard one police officer say they searched the wrong area. I said, okay, this is getting out of hand today. Austin, we were just talking until we get everyone's sound together. So we're just talking about different cases right now. Kyle is going to start us off talking about a case that he's working, and then we'll go into our other cases.
Uh-oh, look like he's back.
Hey y'all, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
All right, good. I couldn't hear you guys, but thank you for having me this evening.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah. So I'm Kyle Winchester. I'm a criminal defense attorney in Atlanta, and I do a lot of appeals, habeas corpus, post-conviction work, trying to reverse cases for people who've been convicted and sentenced to prison. And so one of the reasons that I came on tonight is I thought it would be informative for your listeners to learn about a new phenomenon in DA's offices, definitely in the metro Atlanta area, but also other places in the country, called conviction integrity units. And then I have a client who's got a case that I'm currently representing in that, who's given me permission to talk a little bit about his case, to explain how it works, and also to highlight the key issue case that really make it an exceptional candidate for that type of relief. Baseline, a conviction integrity unit is a remedy for, well, it's an organization that's run by the DA's office, and it's really created out of gratuity and good faith to really audit convictions and trials for cases that conviction relief. So what I mean by that is, if you go to trial and you lose, you have an appeal. That's your next step. And if you lose that appeal, then your case will proceed to state habeas corpus. If you lose in the state habeas corpus and you try and appeal that to the state Supreme Court, but that doesn't work, you'll then file a federal habeas corpus petition. And then if that doesn't work, there are what's called remedies that follow that. But once you've exhausted all four of those buckets of strategies to try and attack what happened at the trial, what you got left is a conviction unit. And that is a core group of prosecutors who are dedicated to reviewing older cases that still have an issue or new evidence, a legal issue that went unredressed by the other post-conviction arguments, or an instance of a miscarriage of justice, or factual evidence of actual innocence. And those are really the two key elements that you want to focus in on if you're an attorney doing one of these applications, or if you're a client that's trying to take advantage of it yourself. And that is, again, you want to be able to show evidence of actual innocence, or you want to be able to show a legal issue that creates a miscarriage of justice. And probably the most classic example of a miscarriage of justice is what is colloquially referred to as a Brady violation. In Brady versus Maryland, the United States Supreme Court basically imposed a constitutional duty on prosecutors to give over any evidence within their knowledge and possession that could benefit the defendant, whether it be shows to some degree that they didn't commit the crime, or whether it impeaches a material witness in the case. Prosecutor has a constitutional duty to turn that over. And when there's evidence that could help the defendant that's known to them but is not turned over, that creates a big problem. And if that happens in your case, and it goes unredressed. Conviction systems like an appeal, like habeas corpus, conviction integrity unit application is a way to present that, try and get relief. And that I raised that as an example because that's precisely one of the things that's going on in my client's current case. And this is the case of State of Georgia versus Travion Reed. Just to tell you a little bit about Mr. Reed. Mr. Reed was convicted of a murder in Atlanta. The murder happened in 2004, but the trial occurred in 2006. And he has been fighting, protesting his innocence, and trying to overturn his conviction for almost 2 decades now. And one of the issues that we're focusing on in his case was a Brady violation that we contend occurred during the testimony of a critical witness. And the issue there was that one of the witnesses that the state used to introduce an alleged out-of-court statement, which comes in as an exception to the hearsay rules, but basically a witness that they bring in to say, hey, the defendant told me something damaging, not in a custodial setting, not on recording, but I heard it and I'm here to tell you about it. We're going to bring in one of those witnesses to tell the jury about that. But at the time, this witness against Mr. Reed was under a federal sentence. He had a federal case. And the government at that time had made a motion prior to Mr. Reed's trial to reduce this witness's sentence. And they did that based on his cooperation against his co-defendant in federal court, but also based on a specific paragraph that referenced his testimony against Mr. Reed in the upcoming trial. Now, at the trial, when the prosecutor is doing the direct examination, introducing the damaging evidence that they have, this prosecutor made an effort to try and bring out the fact that this witness was going to seek a reduction of his federal sentence. But then the witness denied the fact that he had been promised or given assurances that his federal sentence would in fact be reduced. And so that's the key, is that at that point, the prosecutor knew that a motion had already been filed contrary to what he had told the jury, and the prosecutor didn't step in to correct that. And the actual motion that had been filed, the deal between the government and the witness in that case, had not been turned over to Mr. Reed's trial lawyer during the trial. And so there's kind of,
before you go, I want to make sure I'm clear. You're saying that this jailhouse snitch, whatever you want to call him, he did agree and he had a deal with the prosecution that if I gave this testimony, you would shorten my sentence, but the prosecution didn't turn over the paperwork to the defense?
So it's a little more complicated than that.
Okay.
So there's concurrent prosecutions. There's a murder case in state court, Georgia, and then this witness has a federal case in a federal court, and he's trying to get his federal sentence reduced.
Okay.
And a lot of people try and do this. This is not an uncommon thing, but the key difference in Mr. Reed's case is that the government in the federal case had already agreed to file a motion to reduce the sentence. Normally, prosecutors will not give concrete benefits to a witness prior to their testimony. They will intimate, they will suggest that truthful testimony against a defendant in another trial will be looked favorably upon after the testimony, assuming it's true, but we're not giving you any concrete assurances. Mm-hmm. And in that case, there's no problem because there hasn't been a deal that's been hidden from the defense. But in Mr. Reed's case, the difference was that train had already left the station. The government in the federal case had already filed a motion to reduce the federal sentence. And that was information that was within the knowledge of the state prosecutor. And because they they knew or had reason to know about that, they had to turn it over to Mr. Reed's defense lawyer in the state case so that he could confront this witness with the fact that, hey, this process is already going forward. This isn't just a hypothetical motive This is a concrete. You're going to have a hearing. A motion has been filed. And that part of it is what the jury did not get to see.
Wow.
And so that stuff can be very, very impactful, especially if you're dealing with a witness like he was, that is their sole purpose is to introduce an alleged statement, a terrible, damaging statement made by him, but it's not recorded, it's not documented, it's just this witness saying, I heard him say it, right? When a witness is offered for that purpose, credibility is everything. So anything that could be out there to affect whether the jury believes this person needs to be turned over to the defendant. They need to have that to be able to have a fair trial.
Wow. And how long has he been your client?
I've been representing Mr. Reed, I believe, for about 2 years at this point.
Okay.
Year and a half, 2 years.
A year and a half. And what connected you two together?
I'm not sure how he or his family got referred to me. I know I have good relationships with 2 of his prior lawyers. It could have been a referral through them, but yeah, we've been working together for a while. It's a complicated case, and he's been fighting it for a long time. But the example of the issues that we're pursuing there is a great example of what a conviction integrity application kind of is supposed to look like. That's what you're shooting for. You're trying to focus the prosecutor in on either evidence of actual innocence that's newly discovered since the trial, or a key issue in the case that wasn't brought up during the appeal that really shows unfairness. And a lot of people try and take advantage of this unit. So you, as a defense attorney, you're trying to really zoom in on the critical aspects of the case so that the prosecutor that you're working together with will go right to it. So they can go right, won't have to spend tons of time digging and unraveling a big record. They can just go right to the information they need.
Right. Can you give us an example of your thought process when you know you are facing other prosecutors that have been prosecutors their whole life, so you're looking at it through the eyes of a prosecutor? Just kind of what is your process when you do receive these cases to ensure that you get them to hone in on what you need them to look at?
Well, I mean, there's a couple things there. The first part is, usually in a criminal defense setting, it's very adversarial. You and the prosecutor are on opposite sides of the podium. They're fighting for their client. You're fighting for yours. It's adversarial. But in the conviction integrity unit setting, it's the opposite. You're actually working together. You do it the right way. You're trying to be on the same team. And that kind of bleeds into the second part of it is concise legal writing is really a powerful way to communicate your strategy, because they have a lot of people. Some have attorneys, many do not, who are all trying to get them to look over these transcripts, look over these appeals, look at my case, look at this, look at that. You want your application to be concise and to the point, to where you're leading the prosecutor right to the information that they need to see to show, either actual innocence or a miscarriage of justice.
If you can explain to us the difference, you go through all of these appeal processes. I think you gave me about 4. You go through all of these, and now you're at the conviction integrity unit. I guess I'm trying to see what would be different facing this unit versus going through all of these for these.
That was my exact question, because I have a couple of questions.
Yeah, so
that kind of lead into that, and that was, I don't know if these people actually know of this case, because this is my first time hearing of it.
Me too.
Is it true that Fonnie Willis was the ADA at the time, and was Glanville his judge? Is any of that true?
Well, I'm not going to name any names about the case, but it is a Fulton County case.
It's a Fulton County case. Okay.
And yeah, it is a Fulton County case, but it's a case from, I think, the trial was in 2006.
2006, right?
Yeah, but
okay.
But yeah, it's different from other stages of post-conviction relief, because you're trying to help the prosecutor get to the key information that benefits your client. And, you're doing that in a setting where you're working together, not in an adversarial setting like you are in litigation.
Okay. I love the idea of it. I think it's just baffling my brain that I would love for it to not be adversarial from the beginning. I would love to get it right just from the beginning. I would love to not have to argue and go at each other. I love the idea of let's just get this right. So now I'm going to be all over Travion Reed because now I'm interested.
T, before you, I know you said you had some questions for him.
Go ahead.
I want to ask him one. We have another attorney in the chat, and they wanted to know if Kyle, if Georgia has a statute allowing DAs to file a motion to vacate, or do the units function as an avenue to explore new options for appeal?
So there is any motion to vacate's got to be grounded in some form of authority, whether it be a specific statute, a habeas corpus statute, an extraordinary remedy statute. If you want the judge to do anything, you've got to have some form of statutory authority. The unit doesn't necessarily operate as new routes for an appeal. It can help you during an appeal process if something has gone overlooked. But usually the way that they prioritize cases, one of the first things that they'll ask is, have you exhausted your post-conviction remedies? Because the idea is, if you've got an issue that is good enough to convince a prosecutor to overturn the case, it should also be good enough to convince an appellate court to overturn the case, and you don't need them to get involved yet. That's why it's usually a remedy for folks who have, and there's no hard and fast rule saying you can't pursue it before, but generally speaking, they encourage folks to litigate your appeal, litigate your habeas corpus, and then if you don't have those things available to you anymore, then pursue the unit.
Okay.
But these types of units exist in all kinds of different counties, and every county does it their own way. But yeah, it's a new phenomenon that's kind of come about in the last 4 or 5 years, I'd say, become more formal, and it's really a great asset to have if you're a person that's trying to get new evidence in front of someone that can make a difference, or trying to continue fighting your case and you haven't had success at the appellate or habeas corpus levels.
Nice. That is, honestly, that is after watching what a lot of us have watched and what actually birthed this WTF Wednesday, which was the YSL case that we all kind of covered in a way, shape, or form. There were a lot of questions and a lot of looking for light at the end of the tunnel in cases that we grew to know about, such as the cases Rodelius Ryan, aka Lil Rod, and Damone Blaylock, aka Bali, where we're hearing just days ago that they lost their appeal. So it was so many things that kind of sucked the life out of you, because you just kind of heard some information there that just didn't seem quite right. Information that looked like the investigation didn't go the way that maybe it said. And you got these people on the stand putting things on the record, definitely in the transcript, that kind of say, hey, we may need to take another look at this. So to know that even after things may seem almost hopeless, there is some sort of light at the end of the tunnel, that makes me feel a little bit more hopeful. But I am definitely going to so what is your hope for this after WTF Wednesday? Because I'm going to take my cue from you, because I got a big mouth. And I like to. I'm an avid watcher of trials. I'm not in any type of legal field. I'm actually in tech, and so my platform kind of came from me watching trials and giving kind of my commentary, my blow by blow. This is what happened in trial today. if we could do the best possible thing for Travion Reed from Attorney Winchester, what can we do for Travion?
I think that just having me on, being able to talk about the issues is, it's giving information, and I think that's half the battle in a lot of these cases is doing the heavy lifting on the research and then providing the information. And I hope that your listeners find this informative, and if you have family members or loved ones that are fighting their cases, that they'll take this as a new avenue to try to keep their fight going and to continue to pursue relief.
Amazing. How do y'all feel about that one? I saw some great comments. There we go. Very informative. We've gotten a lot of positive comments here, and I think this kind of crosses this particular audience in a multitude of ways, because again, most of them began watching because of the YSL trial. So knowing that we have people who are fighting appeals and different things like that, to know that they still have another issue. Sharonda Wyatt. Hey, Sharonda asks, was the Reed trial, the original trial record? Oh, it was 2006. Was that recorded? Y'all want to watch it, don't y'all? That's what y'all want.
You know we do.
They want to watch it. I'm like, was it recorded? It was 2006.
But they recorded OJ.
Well, it was
94 still. But you know what I do find?
Because for them to say something I don't know about, I'm going to go find it.
Her question really just, I don't think I ever thought about cameras in courtrooms until YSL, because you get to see how so much public attention can make prosecutors, defense attorneys. They really do. They're watching what we're putting out there. And for, when I said that, they recorded OJ's trial, I immediately thought about, they probably didn't give a damn about Travion Reed's trial. And, more of these cases need to be highlighted. They need to be talked about, because every day we see exactly what he's telling us now. Prosecutors are doing whatever they want, and because there is no one to see them or catch them or bring attention to it, we're here having for this young man to be in jail since 2004. Well, and the attorney working to get through this process.
It goes. You can kind of view the issue two ways. If the prosecutor knows that there is an incentive or a deal with a witness, they've got a duty to bring that out so the jury can consider that. But also, if you're a defense attorney and you're about to cross-examine a witness who has a pending case or could have a deal with the government, you've got to do your due diligence to make sure that whatever's out there, you get every bit of it and that you use it to your client's advantage. Absolutely. So, there's two sides of the coin to be seen. But I think the real harm is
he didn't get
through whatever reason, if it doesn't get before the jury, that really takes away from their ability to assess whether they're going to believe somebody or not.
I have a question now for you. And I don't even know if you can answer this, but as an attorney, is that something you could have, had you looked, is that something an attorney would have known about this witness?
So that's an interesting question. I guess the short answer is it depends. Yeah, you got to know to look in the right places, and the way the cases come down on that, it can be very fact specific at times.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, you got to think about it. If you're worried about fighting the state case, and there's a federal thing going on, like, would you know to look for a federal motion to help you with your state case, knowing, as he stated before, that most of the time, and I'll just say it because I've known a lot of people that have gone through federal cases, and the one thing I've heard is that information is time. You got information or you got time. Like that, there's either or. So it is kind of different to hear that they had already allowed for there to be a benefit prior to knowing that the information was going to do what they needed it to do. So it could have been a case where the defense attorney didn't even see that coming. That was just completely like, didn't know it would be that yet. So either way,
that depends on the degree of the discovery that's turned over about the witness. Like you said, if you know that a witness has a federal conviction or a pending federal case, yeah, you know where to look. You know where to look to find that information. That's not suppressed. Mm-hmm. But if you don't get that in the discovery, and it's not necessarily apparent that this person has not only state issues but also a federal issue, then you might not have a reason to go look through a federal docket for that person's name. So these types of questions are very fact specific.
Got it.
So is there a time frame for how long this process takes, or do you kind of just work until we come to some sort of agreement?
So that's it's the latter. There's no the units are not creatures of statute, and I guess that's like a legal way of just saying.
We get what you mean, though.
The law, there's not a law I can point to that creates a conviction integrity unit. So there's not it's not like when you're in court, you'll get specific deadlines about when to file certain motions, when responses are due, things of that sort. But that's part of the working to commutative working process, is that you're really not supposed to be an adversary to the prosecutor in one of these. You're supposed to be working together to share information so that you can both get to the right result.
I mean, but Kyle, at what point do we say it's been 2 years, girl? Sign some papers or something. Have you done one of these before outside of Travion? Have you worked one of these cases before? Mm-hmm. Okay. How long?
They said Kyle was a super lawyer.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, Kyle,
I'm over here. I keep my opinion to myself because I'll just be ready to jump in the field. I'll be ready to nuck if you buck. So if Kyle said get him, I was jumping off the leash. I was waiting to see, because I'm definitely getting ready to go do my due diligence, because when things like this pop up, I absolutely cannot ignore. I cannot ignore it. I always tell the story that my freshman year in college, that was actually one of my first assignments, was a book about a Fulton County case called The Condemnation of Little B. And that was the beginning of Paul Howard's administration. So I always, for some reason, end up in Fulton County about a case. So here we are. I'm back, guys. Travion Reed. Let's see what's going on. I want to know. I won't do anything until Kyle say something. But I would love to know about this case. I absolutely would. I'm intrigued now. I'm intrigued.
Well, thank you all for having me on. It's
thank you.
Yeah, it's I hope you guys have found it. I hope you and your listeners have found it informative, and that they can, help them. If they need help, they know where to look.
So we're happy. It looks like Kayla's coming. Okay, there she is. We are so happy that you were able to come on. It was very informative. Very, very.
Oh my God.
What's the matter? Girl, don't play like that and stuff been happening with these planes. I don't do this to my life. Come on, don't do this to my nerves.
I missed all of it, and I'm so sad. But I was reading the comments, and it looked like it was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
It absolutely was. It was amazing. It was informative. It was hopeful.
Very much so.
It actually, in a way, I'm gonna be the last one across that bridge, but it bridged the gap as far, because I'm very adversarial when it comes to certain things. But this was definitely showing that there's a way to bridge the gap and work together, and I love that. I love it.
And did y'all remind him that Kyle represented me when I almost went to jail?
No, we didn't hear that part. Kyle didn't say that. We went running.
Y'all forgot when Glanville tried to hold me in contempt? Kyle was one of the lawyers who represented.
That's right. She had a good team. She had a crew.
She came in with a whole starting five.
Listen, Cal, we missed you in the plethora of lawyers that was standing behind. There's about 20 of them behind her. So
Of them up there. Okay. See, Kyle Nuck if you buck too. You know. Okay. I love it. I love it. I love this work. It makes people hopeful. It shows that there is a way. And it honestly, in my opinion, it shows that this is probably the way our justice system will work. And if more people knew that there was a possibility of a thing like this, they wouldn't be as apprehensive about the possibility of the justice system hoping, working for them. I would love to see that working together to make sure this is done right, done at the beginning. Hi, Mrs.
Williams. Hey.
You made my eyes sweat this morning. I
has
Oh, and he came right on time because I just got news about my godson that I was tearing up about yesterday. I just got his final formal sentence and everything. And I said, you know what? I told somebody about you. And I hope. And then I wake up the next morning and guess who at Gwinnett County? Come through, Jesus.
Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate it once again.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
So D. Williams, back in criminal court, we see.
I know.
I thought it was appropriate to have Attorney D. Williams since we were talking about post-conviction work and, everybody knows what's going on with Rod. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for inviting me.
So he was telling us, and I know we're not here in Lil Rod's case yet, but he was talking to us about the Conviction Integrity Unit. Are you familiar with that unit here in Georgia too?
I just heard about it like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I went to like some conference and they were explaining what they do and everything. And I was surprised. I didn't know they even had that.
How do you feel after hearing what they do? Because I guess for me, Erin, she's an attorney that she's in my chat and we bug her all the time. And she was kind of telling us something similar. So hearing it today and you guys kind of confirming that it is here in Georgia was really good. But just hearing what they do, how are you feeling as an attorney that practices here? You and Kayla, how are you guys feeling about that unit in general?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that they do have it. I'm hoping that helps for so many people who get wrongfully convicted and are able to have like another set of eyes look at it. I believe if you have like the prosecutor looking at it and they're presenting it to the judge, like, hey, we made a mistake. I mean, that might help get some people out of jail. So of course I like it.
Yeah, help them get out of jail, without exhausting so many resources and so much money and so much time. But it's just a simple fact of it doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Raynette said it sounds like fluff. I hope not, Raynette. Especially because it sounds like from listening to Kyle, when you get to this unit, the gloves are off. Like we're just sitting down. Let's look at this. There's no time crunches. He said there's really not a statute. They're just kind of looking. And I do think if, as an attorney, if you can go through everything and show the prosecutor, I don't know. I get it. I get what you mean by that, Raynette. I guess I'm just so hopeful. That these are prosecutors that didn't prosecute the case, looking over everything. That it might be better. There's no connection. There's no emotion attached to the cases because no, I couldn't imagine sitting down with Love and saying, "Hey, let's look over what you did." I can't imagine that. So I do appreciate. It's not the same prosecutors that prosecuted the case. I can appreciate that. And hopefully that makes it work out in people's favor.
The only issue I see
Do you know if Rod had an opportunity to experience, I guess, whatever they do?
No, based on what they were saying at the conference, he wouldn't be eligible for that because they're gonna say the jury had an opportunity to like look over his case and they still decided what they decided. So based on the criteria that I learned over the weekend, he wouldn't be eligible for that because it'd have to be like clear cut, like he was definitely like on the other side of town when it happened, and somehow the jury still found that out, and it's like, But this one's a little different, so he wouldn't be eligible.
Even with the new evidence that came out
Well,
in the testimony.
it wasn't. It was there for the lawyers to have picked up on if they would have picked up on it. So it's like it's not really new. We just brought it to the forefront.
And I think that's what Kyle said. Basically, it has to be a miscarriage of justice or actual factual evidence that completely proves they're in.
Right.
Like he would town.
Yeah, he would have to be the other side of town or something like that's so far fetched. It's like, wait a minute, but this one's not. He wouldn't be eligible. But there's still a different way for him to
go
perhaps get another chance. So, and I'm happy that he does have a public defender because he doesn't have to wait for the check to clear.
I love that.
I love it. I love it. We'll still remain hopeful. I hope.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you coming on. I was so excited to see you. So I appreciate that when Kayla was talking to us about this, I think Miss Jefferson was like, "Oh, we need to ask about Lil Rod's case." So it was really good, really good to see you and to kind of
I'm nosy.
to connect the dots there.
Yeah, I saw your comment. I was like, I mean, everybody keeps calling me. They're like, "Oh, I have appearance. Can you do this?" I'm like, "Okay," and I keep showing up.
I love it.
That's okay. One day at a time. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. Nobody's gonna ever do it like you. I'll take it. I'll take it.
How are the spirits? Do you know?
I'm not sure because he's like 3 hours away, 3 hours away, and I don't want to talk to him on the jail phone for obvious reasons. So I don't know. Kind of miss him.
Oh, he was such a little baby.
I know, the youngest one. Should have never been there.
He was just a baby.
Yeah. Yeah, he should have never been there. They were just trying to prove a point, which they still didn't prove, but go off, I guess.
Have you been following any of the other trials? Have you been following the Melly or ASAP Rocky trial?
I just saw when Rihanna walked in.
I think we all see when she walks in and when she leaves. We watch every one of those videos.
That's about all I see. Yeah, I mean, y'all know I'm into anime.
I was kind of laughing on the inside. I said, "Oh, look at her anime posters back there."
I mean, and then one of my TikTok followers told me about this hoodie, and I've been wearing it like 24/7. Like, anime is life.
I love it.
Yeah, like I just met the voice of Sailor Moon this weekend. That was the highlight.
Sailor Moon.
I love Sailor Moon was cute. I love Sailor Moon, the two ponies. I love Sailor Moon. I used to watch that before school. I guess that show my age. I used to watch Sailor Moon.
And the voice actor is so sweet. I was crying like a little baby. That was so embarrassing.
Yeah, Millie's case is really messy right now. We were just covering it yesterday. If you guys could see the search warrant they gave on that lady's phone, child, they want everything but her blood type. I mean, they want everything from her phone. It is really scary, the amount of things they asked for on this lady's phone.
Why are they investigating her?
I think they believe that not only her. We got a clue into it yesterday in the search warrant. They specifically mentioned the detective who had the shiesty mask on. I think they believe she tampered with him, like she had something to do with his identity being revealed because someone found. So he's wearing the shiesty mask, but at some point, someone puts his wife's name or something in Cash App, and they see his face.
No, it was a full family photo.
Full
him, the wife, and kids. So
yeah.
This is where I have a problem with it because I watched the first YNW Melly trial live. And when he walked up there with that too little suit on, and nothing was covered but from here to here. Sir, I can see your neck, I can see braids, I can see your hair tucked up in the back of it. Like, there were so many telltale signs of who he, like, identifiers of him. And the fact that he had actually, I believe they had to stop because he scared a juror. The juror was like, I don't know who he is. He can see me. I can't see him. I don't know who this person is. I'm not comfortable with this. And they had to stop. So during that time, he gets back on the stand. They continue with the testimony. And in the law and crime chat, they say, hey, go out here and go look here. This is who he is. Now, in the law and crime chat, they said it was his Cash App that they found. And it was a full family photo of him, wife, and kids.
Oh, wow.
So this was why he was on the stand talking. This wasn't that he was testifying. They went home, came back the next day, and they found him. This is while he was on the stand talking. So now that they're trying to say that she may have leaked his identity to a YouTuber or something, his identity was out before he took a break. Before they took a break.
So they're saying that the lawyer put that out there in the chat while she was in court?
It seems like
we're just like piecing stuff together from the search warrant because the search warrant wants everything.
That can't be it.
They want to know her maps. They want to know what she has on her Apple Watch, all her health information.
Did they actually release the search warrant, man?
Yeah. You want me to say
over a year ago?
Yeah.
They just released. Remember, T, they just released the search warrant.
It must have just came out.
They just released it. They tried to put a protective order on it so she couldn't see it.
And yeah, great. There are two attorneys here. I have a question for you guys. Because we were looking for attorneys last night in response to this. So there's a part in court last week. The attorneys for the defense team, because Raven's on the defense team and the prosecution. The defense is arguing for the affidavit that went along with the search warrant. And the judge will not release that affidavit to them. He says it's not within his power to do so. He did what he could do. That is releasing the search warrant. The defense's stance is we need that affidavit. Basically, we need to see what they are citing as a what's it called? What's the word?
They saying show me the money. What's the conflict?
No, what's the word?
The probable cause?
No, they're trying to figure out the conflict. What the conflict?
Thank you. Woo. Okay, the conflict. They're trying to see what the conflict is because I think in my mind the search warrant is too broad. They need to know what they were saying in the affidavit to see what the conflict is. But the judge's stance is the conflict is that the very same people prosecuting Melly for this double murder are probably going to prosecute her for witness tampering. So that's enough conflict. You don't need to know anything deeper. But the defense is saying, no, we need to know specifically because this could be
that would be discoverable material.
Wait, so that's what they did.
What the defense said too. Okay,
wait a minute. He had because the witness tampering case is open and the double unaliving case is open. The witness tampering case came at the end of the last double unaliving. And he said, wait a minute. So it's this case with him. She's being investigated to this moment with him. Judge says yes. He said, then that's discovery.
That's what he said.
He said there is no, because the judge would say the Constitution portions that
wasn't enough. They cited Article 4
to give up the affidavit. They have tried everything to hide the search warrant. They have not released it. They tried to release it in camera. They tried to release it only in camera to the judge and have the judge redact it and give them a redacted version. And when the judge said, I'm not redacting it, because if I came to your house and wanted to search your house, I'd have to give you a search warrant. Mm-hmm. So you guys are searching her phone. You have to give her this search warrant. And then they left and was supposed to come back with the search warrant, and they came back with a protection order for the search warrant. And the judge was like, okay, now let me look through this. And the judge was like, yeah, no, ma'am, no ham, no turkey, no sandwich. You're not getting this protection order. Give them the damn search warrant. And so they gave the search warrant, but not the affidavit. And they literally asked them everything from voice memos to draft to their fitness information to everything. when you downloaded something, when you updated your phone, when you purchased your phone. It was so many things. It was so broad. It was like everything from turning the phone, the moment you turned the phone on.
They want to know everything about this phone. I mean, they
This
ask
point,
for
it
so
can't,
much
it can't be
information.
Cash App Danny. I called him Cash App Danny during that last trial. It can't be Cash App Danny because they found his ass. I know they like to say, oh, it was his wife's Cash App. I don't. When they found him, they used him. He gave his name when they found him. My thing was that they're either trying to stay up in the group chat so they can
Absolutely.
see.
How is that not attorney-client privilege for the things that are on her phone?
Thank you. That's all
That's
it
all I
is.
keep thinking is how is it
That's
not
the whole
attorney-client privilege?
strategy.
That is crazy.
So
Because
that's
how would it be Cash App
attorney.
Danny before it's Mariah? I mean,
Yeah,
Mariah's in there too, but why would it be more of an issue with Cash App Danny than the witness that y'all said skipped the country? Like, it just doesn't make sense. It
So
just doesn't
because
make
they keep losing the trial, they're just trying to find another way to try to be like, okay, we're gonna get them now because they don't have a case. Is that what prosecution is doing now?
well, my thing is,
And then even with that, it's like it's not none of this is his fault. He should at least get a bond. Oh,
yeah.
Because hasn't he been in there for like 3 years now?
more than that, it's like been like 20, what, about almost 2,200 days. Like, yeah, he's been in there for about, it's been,
Oh,
what,
oh
5 years?
wait. Someone just put in the chat, and the crazy part about all of this is the prosecution did not tell her about the search warrant. Apple alerted her that the search warrant had been issued on her phone and her information.
Yeah, they wouldn't advise. They would not admit it. The judge made them admit it in
The
front of
judge made them admit.
the judge. Said we can clear this up now. Is she under investigation? Yeah. Does it have to do with him? Well, it does it have to do with him? Are you investigating her in relation to him? Yes. For what case? uh we'd rather not say. They did not want to say that it was his witness tampering case that she was being investigated for. They did not admit that information, that it even had anything to do with Melly or witness tampering or what it was about for over a year. She only knew because Apple said, hey, somebody requested your Apple ID information.
That's actually how they won in my opinion, won the search warrant, because the judge was saying, you guys are saying it's an open investigation, but it's been over a year. If you were going to charge her with something, you would have done it by now. I'm not buying that. Turn over the search warrant. It's Melly's case is it's a lot.
I personally feel like if you've watched the first case, I mean nothing by this. I hope I don't offend anybody, but I had a hard time figuring out if Melly was Hannibal or Rain Man. I could not figure out if he was absolutely insane or autistic. I could not figure it out. I didn't know what he was doing. It was scary. Then he'd bust out smiling. I'm like, well, at least
all of this in court.
he was doing weird stuff in court. So I was like, what the hell? But no matter what, Attorney Liberty was able to communicate with him, get information from him. She was the closest with him. And I personally feel like they were going to wait until she was absolutely representing out of him and then arrest her. They were going to remove her. I just really feel like that they were holding that information, holding this investigation open. And then all of a sudden, when they say they feel like they're not winning,
yeah,
they're going to remove her, because nobody else on that defense team, no matter how great they are, nobody communicates with that boy like her. And you got to remember, she was the one going to see him. So with her being under the investigation, now he sees nobody. Now he up here playing with his mouth and doing all this kind of crazy stuff. Like he's losing it. He's losing it.
I mean, makes sense if you're in jail and you know you shouldn't be. Because the first one was a mistrial, wasn't it?
It was. It was. But the thing is, he's not just in jail. Oh, they keep him in a separate part where the wing is isolated. There's no door on his cell. There is an officer that sits outside of it, and that officer is not allowed to converse with him. When he does come out to eat, everybody else has to go in their cells, and then he comes and he walks around. So nobody talks to this boy. He has not had a phone call or an email in over 3 years. He has.
And you see how he looked when Mariah walked in. It's like that was the only. Ain't her name Mariah?
Mariah.
Yeah, it was like that was his first glimpse of life.
Life
It's like
outside of court, and he was like, Like the boy looked like he would the little skunk off the Looney Tunes. The heart start going. He was like,
Hey, Philip Hugh.
yeah, he was losing it. He was like, oh, there is somebody that's not a lawyer, that's not court, that's not a court reporter.
Shannon ain't even look at me like that when I used to come in. I feel some kind of way.
He looked at that girl like pure love. His eyes were hearts. Okay, those pupils were hearts. But they have done that boy. It just makes me feel like all the rumors were true. And I always say allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. But when watching the first trial, a lot of people from Broward County wanted me to understand that there was an unaliving of an officer that happened that was never solved. And they always believed Melly to be a part of it. And then they purposely waited to charge him. And then they waited to have his trial after the rules for the needle changed to not having to be unanimous in Broward County, and then they charged him. So this is a needle case as well. And so now that he's sitting here in jail for all this time, they end up finding Detective Moretti. That's why I kept messing up Viverito, because I was saying Viveretti and all kind of stuff, because I kept remembering Moretti from this trial. He was under investigation. He stole the mom's phone. He fractured her wrist when he did it. He wasn't in jurisdiction. He executed a warrant that he wasn't supposed to do. The DA's office absolutely knew about it. And somebody from the DA's office actually got on the stand and said, listen, I'm not going to be a part of this. He's under investigation. He stole that phone. This is when he did it. This is what he said. I don't want no parts of this. And so the first DA got kicked off because of that, DA Christina Bradley. And then now they have DA Buckaloo in here. And the first thing she said is, I'm going to ask that Bradley be brought back onto this case. And when the judge said no, she said, all right, cool, because she was being real nice and she didn't charge everything. So now I got some about extra 6-7 charges that I'm going to add on to this double unaliving and everything else. And on top of that, she went and got his co-defendant and started this witness tampering case. And it all seems vengeful. So now he was facing the witness tampering case that was supposed to happen in November. They pushed his unaliving retrial all the way to September of this year when he went to trial in 2023. It's like, all of it feels like personal in a way that's not just doing your job.
Right.
And if you think YSL was something, at least we could take, I hate that it took as long as it did, but at least we got YSL in doses. We got it over a year. Like Melly's case was that in like 3 months. You never got a chance to come up from air. It was straight gut punches and questioning and what if. Like these people had the car that they were unalived in from the time the boy pulled up to the hospital up into the trial, almost 5 years. And all of a sudden, a month before the trial, now you have DNA. You've sent 3 people there 2 other times, but when the supervisor goes, here's the magic DNA that they never found. Like it's stuff like that happens in this case, and it was so freaking crazy. Something happened. Okay. Yeah. It's not toilet tissue in the rain. It's not cotton candy underwater. This is not what we saw in YSL. There is some crazy, but it's just like they start adding stuff to the evidence and doing things like executing a warrant you have no business executing and out of your jurisdiction, lying about it, lying about people being under investigation, and then DAs getting kicked off. I think we are on DA number 2, judge number 3. It's like,
something's crazy.
Something's not right, but I can't figure out who or what the fuck it is.
So they really are just being spiteful because they think he's done some things around Broward County. They're just like, okay, we'll just take it out right now.
I wanted to go in the first trial. I was like, yeah, okay. So I got into the first trial because of lyrics. So the first trial I heard about because of lyrics, and my husband brought me home the lyrics to the song that they were trying to use against him. But there was absolute evidence that he had released it on like SoundCloud and YouTube, like maybe 2 years before it came out on his album, maybe a year before.
And not to cut you off, that's what's happening with Dirt too. They're saying some of the lyrics that they were using, the song, the actual. Y'all know I don't know what this was
coming, but I knew this was coming. He got a lot of little songs that came out after that. I knew this was coming.
Okay, so they're saying that they got the actual drive that the music was recorded on, like the whatever, and it saves every piece of data. So it's saying that those lyrics that they're trying to use, those songs was recorded way before any unalivings.
That's good.
Same thing with Melly. They try to use that unaliving on my mind song, and it do sound crazy when you listen to it and see what happened. But to know that he made it years before, then released it on his actual record over a year before, and then recorded the video, the actual visual, 3 months before the unalivings happened, and they were really still trying to use these lyrics saying, oh, this is what he was talking about. And it's just like, so he wants to be a Miss Cleo? Like,
no, but you can put a lyric from any rapper to any homicide in any city and it's going to fit because they're talking
just like
about
the
what's
rapper,
happening.
just like one of the lawyers put in the motion about Nicki Minaj said she S'd on somebody and she literally didn't in the YSL the second round.
You said S and I'm gonna say the word. My bad.
that's my song.
I don't know, y'all. I be forgetting all the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, that case is absolutely crazy. I can't wait for you to go back and watch it. But watching that,
y'all, we gotta go. But before we go, let's talk about ASAP a little bit.
Oh,
I'm about to say, I know you're in the airport. It's been an hour. I think we good. We're okay.
Okay, so we're not gonna talk about the Doug Jr. or Doug on steroids.
I do have a clip D. Williams might find.
Just one.
I do have a clip I'd like to show. Let me show
you. Will not do Doug like that.
I don't call him Doug Jr., but I will when I'm hoping you mean the fact that Doug would have appreciated this clip.
No, all jokes. Y'all know I love Doug. That's just
I know, but I think Doug actually commented on my TikTok. I said he would have. Oh, Kayla, you gotta let it up.
Okay.
So D. Williams.
Yeah, set this up for me because I just know Rihanna.
Oh wait, I know you remember how Doug kept standing up. He would either say 403 or he would say, Your Honor, you've got to put them on a clock.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this scene you're about to see, and I had 2 questions for this scene, but in this scene you're going to see Lewin is the prosecutor. He is very long-winded. He had a simple witness up there. I think he's what we would call a material witness. He had him up there for 7 to 8 hours. It would have been longer, but the judge told him this. And it's so funny.
40.
Court was over. Court was over, y'all. And the judge tells them, no, I want to talk to you. So Lewin is the first one to get there. So you're going to see him say, oh, did he call a meeting? The judge is like, no, I did. So here it is.
You have something or do you have something? I do. You have something. And then I'm going to ask all of you. Okay.
Oh. Sorry, y'all. Don't mind me and all my shit recording.
You have something or do you have something? I do. You have something. And then I'm going to ask all of you. Okay. I always do when we before break. All right, we're outside the presence of the jury. Mr. Lewin, you've been questioning the witness for 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Your Honor, they have
2 minutes. You have 90 minutes remaining. You have 90 more minutes. I'm controlling the progress of the case. That means over 4 hours with this witness.
Your Honor,
You have 90 minutes remaining.
Your Honor, I've got an ethical duty to actually effectively prosecute this
And
case.
you're going to have to do it in 90 minutes.
Your Honor, working with you, but please allow me to be heard.
Go ahead. Say what you want to say.
They had the witness, the victim, on the stand for 3 days. They asked him question after question about his
ASAP.
about more irrelevant.
Rocky's out of control.
I'm going through video where the
I didn't realize how handsome he was.
He's fine right here, though.
on the central issues in this case. And the court is saying, you got to hurry up. Your Honor, we have to be able to do our job. I'm not wasting time. I'm asking questions that are getting important information. And when the court didn't limit them at all. This witness is as important as the victim in the case.
The reason Relly took so long is because he was so uncooperative and he would not answer a question. This witness is answering questions. Over 4 hours is enough. You have 90 minutes remaining. Just use your time wisely. That's it, 90 minutes. That's an hour and a half more. I'm sure can get it done in that amount of time.
If looks could kill.
So listen.
Rocky don't know. Somebody need to tell Rocky he on trial.
Two things, because I'm happy. Let's see what the WTF family feels about this. I wrote 2 questions. One, I wanted to show y'all that I was happy that the judge put him on a clock because he was out of order with his questions. He was repetitive. He was very repetitive. He would ask the same thing and maybe change one word. It was terrible. But Rocky's attitude in court. Now, we are outside of the presence of the jury, right? But outside of him doing all of this, the other day he left court with shades on. The judge talking, he had on shades. And don't be in the comments today. He was about to leave. I don't care. He was still in that courtroom with shades on.
Oh, in the courtroom?
In the see, D. Williams, you get it. I don't know if it's a LA thing or what. The other day, D. Williams, his homeboy was on the stand. Now, I partially understand this. The man yelled out in court, "Don't say it," when they asked the man a question. Like, I partially understood it because it's his intellectual property.
Rocky said, "Don't say it."
He yelled out in court. He said, "Don't say it."
Don't say it.
I'll find
in front of the jury?
And
in
no,
front of everybody.
The jury was there. The jury was there.
The jury, well, everybody was there. It was in the middle of questioning.
He said, "Don't say it." He said, "Don't say it."
Yes, he has a business, and the secrecy is the business. So that's how they build it up. Rule number 1 is never say what it means, and rule number 2 is refer to rule number 1.
Oh, not Fight Club.
So, right. So when they asked what that business acronym meant,
I'm gonna show you Williams.
I mean, I can tell you what it means to me. He said, "Don't say it." He said it real.
Make sure my screen sharing.
That's why I said somebody need to tell Rocky that he on trial. Because
can you share my screen, Kayla?
Oh my God! If I was a juror, I'd be like, "You're guilty just for that."
There it is, right there, D. Williams. This is on the website.
Here you go, the blood of Jesus. Here you go.
Never say what it means. Never says.
That's on his website?
Yes.
Never. It never asked you what AWGE means?
They asked what it meant.
You cannot. They asked what it meant.
And you said don't say it.
I think Luann knew that website said that, and he asked it on purpose. Like, I just want to be messy. What does it mean? So he did that, okay?
I mean, I would too.
4 things Rocky has done. Number 5, they show his house. His house was messy, but it did look like he was moving. The judge said, "Does anyone?"
He said it's normally not that messy, Mel.
The judge said, "Does anyone have any say?" D. Williams, can you imagine Lil Rod raising his hand? Talking about, "I do. I like to say something. I like to put it on record that my house is normally not that junky." I said, "Get him out. Get him out of here."
He does. I said somebody need to tell Rocky that he on trial. He up there making him faces.
He doesn't know he's on trial.
So he's acting cocky in front of the jury. We're not going to be humble at all. We're just going to be like, "Y'all going to find me not guilty." I hope this case is going well for him.
D.
So
Williams,
what you guys are telling me, it does not sound great.
Where are you from, D. Williams?
California.
Oh, you're from. Oh, wait a minute. You people in the chat. You remember I said maybe it's a Southern thing. The reason why I feel like this, she's from California and saying the same thing. He was out of order.
Out of order.
He's out of order.
Yeah. If for him to be a celebrity, I would think he'd have like some media training. And I feel like the media training should transfer to court.
No, he doesn't. Let me tell you this, number 6, because here's another thing. Now, before the first 2 to 3 days of trial, maybe the first 2 days, he was really leaning back in his seat a lot. Like, and Joe does it too.
Like in an old kind of.
You're defending. The jury is looking at you. People are looking at.
I mean, his lawyer is kind of a,
his lawyer's free and not on trial though.
No, but I'm just saying, I think a lot of times clients feed off of the energy of their attorneys.
I don't think they like each other for real. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that, because number 7. Damn, I keep coming up with numbers. Number 7, D. Williams, he told the judge during trial in front of the jury to instruct attorneys to not say the N-word.
Yeah.
His attorney kept saying it like it was
his attorney was the one saying it, so he didn't ask
his attorney was the one saying it.
Stop saying that when you talk about text messages. He asked
his attorney is saying the N-word and he
was reading it like this, D. Williams. He was like, "And I told that don't ever play with me or I'm gonna beat your." Like he was just saying like it was nothing. And Rocky said, "Your Honor, Judge." Like, The
Like,
fact that he didn't
he
feel
thinks he
comfortable.
co-counsel. He's objecting.
Mel, you see that comment?
7 issues, Mel. I don't know. You might be.
Oh my God.
He
So-
thinks
If I watch trial again, I might find 8.
But usually when an attorney does that, I feel like they get permission from their client.
Yeah, for sure.
But
So
you
I
would
feel-
think that the client would tell the lawyer, "Hey, listen, this is a bit much for me."
He already
I
told
feel like
me.
he probably
Julie.
said, "Go ahead and say it." Maybe he was getting flamed on the internet. He was like, "Oh wait, don't say it. My bad."
I don't think the way he was so annoyed when he said it, the judge was like, talk to your co-counsel. Like, baby, don't yell it out at me in this courtroom.
Oh my God. Okay.
He did.
Okay,
I
y'all.
don't think they have their
I'm
relationship.
gonna jump off. Y'all can stay on.
No,
if
that's
y'all
fine.
want.
We can end here. We can end here. But yes, D. Williams, it's been a mess on the ASAP Rocky trial, but thank y'all so much for joining.
Yeah, because I'm not
I
gonna
like
make
Thank
this
y'all
little
for
catch
joining us.
up.
We
I
had a
don't have
good
to watch the
crowd today,
trial.
y'all.
I
We
can
got like
have y'all.
1,000 people on here.
You said what, Kayla?
We got like 1,000 people on here tonight.
Well, look at that.
y'all up late tonight.
Y'all up late. Sorry, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining. And Miss D. Williams, thank you. It was so great to see you blonde and a
Thank
red.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I was late, y'all. Y'all, I got my time mixed up. I thought that 8:30 was. I don't know. I don't know how I did that. And I was on the plane like, oh my God, this is 8:30. But I pushed through because I wanted y'all to keep going, and I wanted Kyle to share his story.
Yeah, Kyle was really great. Thank you so much for having him on. He was really great.
Yeah, but you know what we want to know. We want to know
All
how
right,
that
see
went.
y'all next week.
See y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for the
Hi,
invite.
y'all.